Today, we'll be interviewing Harley Jackson. He's a legend when it comes to RPGs and Gothic-themed video games. Today, we're going to ask him how he got to be such a godly figure in the ways of Castlevania, and perhaps learn secrets for ourselves. I understand that you didn't grow up with Castlevania, and it was only until recently, that is within the last 6 years, that you've picked up Castlevania, and since then you've become what is a very large, godly figure in the genre. Can you explain how you actually started?
Well, back in 2008, I saw a couple of videos by an internet celebrity called the Angry Video Game Nerd, and in those videos he described Castlevania just so wonderfully. He had such fond memories of it, and I really wanted to experience those video games for myself. And about a week later, I picked up Simon's Quest from a local pawn shop and beat it in one day, and ever since then I've been addicted to Castlevania.
Now, Simon's Quest, I hear that's the worst possible game you could start with, besides Judgment. Don't look at me, Judgment. Can you explain how your feelings were just starting with Simon's Quest? Did it discourage you from playing other games in the series?
Well, you know, a lot of people say Simon's Quest is one of the worst games, but I think that's just because it derived from the original Castlevania a bit too much. But to be honest, since I started out with it, I didn't really go into that with the mindset that it was different. And on its own, it's still a really good game, especially for the Nintendo era. And like I said, it's pretty much what got me hooked on to the rest of the Castlevania series. So.
Now, I thought you'd have a lot more negative things to say about Simon's Quest, and it does raise further questions about how you think of other games in the genre. What is your favorite?
Well, to be honest with you, Harmony of Despair is probably one of my favorite games from Castlevania. It's not a physical game, it's a download game, but it would have to be one of my favorites because it combines pretty much almost every single Castlevania game into one. It brings forth the NES days, the 16-bit days, and some of the newer games on the Nintendo DS, and brings all those characters. You get Simon Belmont, you get Jonathan Morris, you get Alucard. It's just a great game overall, and obviously there's multiplayer, which that they're going to capitalize on in the newer download games. So that's always fun too.
Harley is awesome!
How do you feel about the newer games that are coming out, like Judgment for the Wii?
To be honest, I kind of like what they're trying to do, Judgment being a fighting game, and the newest Castlevania game, Lords of Shadows, being more of a platformer than the traditional side-scroller. But in another sense, I really don't like it because Lords of Shadows acted as a reboot, and it's kind of taking away all the mythos of the past Castlevania games, and that's what I've been following for these years now. It's like they're just taking all that away. But I have hope for the future of Castlevania. I have hope that maybe somehow Lords of Shadows will tie into all these games, but to be honest, what the future holds is unseeable.
Well, you sound rather modest about how you play these games. How would you describe yourself as a player?
Well, to be honest, I'm kind of an average player. With some of the older games I have some trouble with because, they're really hard, but then again, they're also really fun to play because of that challenge. With the newer games, they're a lot more easier. It's all about leveling up, more of the RPG aspect, so I've beaten all of those. But with the older games, they're a lot harder to beat, like the original Castlevania. I think I've only got like stage 15 now. So, I'm not really that good, but, sort of learning.
Well, thank you, Harley, for sharing some of your wisdom today. I'm Joel Lumley, and that's just how it is.